I think what the New York Mets are doing is very smart.
Haven't done anything. Smart?
Yes.
All right.
Sometimes the best moves are the ones you don't make.
Yeah, I mean, so we're going to turn the offseason into a Hallmark card, right? Because that's all you have right now. Because listen, I'm going to spit it back so who's playing? And we had this a little bit before we went away, for the holidays. Who's playing third? Who's playing left? Who's your second starting pitcher? I'm going to actually respond this way. First of all, I disagree.
Right.
But I'm going to try to put myself in the shoes of the Met fan right now to really volley back and forth. And if I'm a Met fan, right, I honestly mean, like, my goal would be to be judged the same way Yankee fans are judged. Because if it's about baseball equality, which is what everybody's espoused, and you've led the way since Cohen came, it's about, not acquiescing to the Yankees and not being second fiddle and the checkbook and the money and all that stuff. Forget about the aura. We've got a new sheriff. We're going to change things up. Okay, I respect that. I'd like to see it actually happen. But the Yankee fan has to fend off, and I get it, and I do it because it's accurate. You cannot waste the primes of Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole, and it's absolutely true. So why is it okay, Sal, for the Mets, until further notice, to waste the primes of more guys they have under contract?
But I don't think they are.
Well, I think they are. Alonso's not a kid.
Right.
Lindor's 30.
But what makes you say that they're wasting it?
Because they're doing nothing. And if they don't add to the core, the Mets are a 75-win team.
But
Mets are bad right now.
They try. You would say the same thing about the Diamondbacks going on last year, and they won the World Series.
Yeah, I wouldn't, though.
Changed.
No, I wouldn't. I'll tell you why I wouldn't, though. I hear you in terms of the win. Excuse me. I'm a little sick today, by the way, so if I sound different, my bad. I'm just plowing through it, right?
What happened?
I don't know. Just everybody's sick. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's all good.
You did the St. John's game.
It's all good. It's all good,
right.
man. It's all good. It's what we do.
Just cough that way.
I'll try. But I love this conversation because it's so inconsistent. It's inconsistent. Now, the Diamondbacks, right? I got a cute story. 85 wins, whatever it was.
Well,
okay.
the Phillies the year before.
The difference, though, is that the Diamondbacks had no payroll and no veterans that they were building around. I don't mean a veteran or two, but somebody like Lindor or Pete or McNeil or obviously Marte. Or, by the way, Edwin Diaz going to be 31. So it's not the same template. The New York Mets right now have a core of 4 or 5 players. Some I like, some I think are overrated, quite frankly. And they're doing nothing to ensure that those players at that core, number one's getting better, and it's maximized. It's just wildly, the worst thing that I can say about a team is I can't identify your plan. And I don't even know what the Mets' plan is.
Well, their plan right now is to restock the farm, which is what they did. They started that last year, and they're being smart and disciplined. See, the idea that the Mets were punting this season is ridiculous to me. How exactly are you punting if you're willing to go to $325 million for a pitcher that's never thrown a pitch in the big leagues before? That's not punting. What that is we're not going to make moves just to make moves. We're not going to treat every single offseason like, oh, here's the best player on the market. We're going to get him. If we like the player, we are going to go all in to get that player, which they did. And they would do it. They were going to be in on Ohtani. They were going to be on Yamamoto. In no way, shape, or form is being in on Ohtani and Yamamoto punting this season. Those guys didn't want the New York Mets for whatever reason. There's nothing they could do about it. So instead, what would you rather them do? Go get Blake Snell and overpay for him?
Yes.
Why?
Because
it's a stupid decision.
You're not going to compete without starting. The Mets, I sincerely
They'll get starters.
This.
Well, they did sign Luis Severino.
It was the worst pitcher in baseball.
There's still some upside there. And
he was the worst pitcher in baseball.
They traded for the guy from Milwaukee.
What, Hauser? Is that his name?
Yeah, right. Hauser. Okay. So,
all right. Well, wait. What an endorsement! And you know baseball.
Right.
You just called him the guy from Milwaukee.
Whatever. Hauser. Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude. He could have got Doogie Howser to give the stamp of approval at this point.
We went over this.
Mets are doing nothing.
And Mike and Chris mocked R.A. Dickey when the Mets signed him, and the guy won a Cy Young. So just because they're not household names now doesn't mean that they're not going to perform. What the Mets are doing is building a team, or at least trying to build a team. They've brought in several bullpen arms. They're going to get a third baseman. They're going to get a DH. Is it going to be the sexiest move? By the way, I don't even want J.D. Martinez, and that would maybe be one of the sexier moves. There are still some players out there that could help this team be better next year. Now, they're going to be hurting in the starting rotation because there isn't an ace that they're going to go get. I don't believe in Blake Snell anyway, and they're not going to go get him. So who is that ace? They tried to get Yamamoto, didn't get it. So, all right, so they're going to be, look, they're one of many teams that's going to go into the season without an ace. And by the way, the Mets have gone into the last few seasons with 2 aces. How's that worked out? It hasn't. But what they're doing, BT, I commend them for not being reactionary and going for players that are less than or that they don't believe in.
I'll give you this. Like, when you make a move just to make a move to appease people, and the Knicks did this for years with Isaiah, it usually doesn't work out. I'm with you there, but I think that you're really underrating or undervaluing some of the pieces you guys could still get. Like, and I know that Blake Snell's not perfect. He labors through
I'd rather
starts.
have Montgomery. You want to make a case for him.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. But I would much rather, if again, I'm through the purview of a Mets fan. I'm in your shoes right now, and I'm seriously wondering what you guys are doing. And would I rather watch McGill and Peterson?
No.
Or Blake Snell, who's not perfect, but I just want two Cy Youngs. Blake Snell.
But it is about the what would you pay? Then why don't the Yankees go get Blake Snell?
I want them to.
You're going to pay $200 million or whatever it is for him?
Whatever it takes to put something out there that's better than C-, D+ stuff, which is what the Mets currently have, and the Yankees have too much stuff. But I want to keep it to the Mets. I don't like what the Yankees are doing yet. Yankees need to do a whole lot more. The Mets are a 75-win team, and they seem to be okay with that.
Point is, for me, I don't think that they're okay with that. I think they're going to be better. But they have to make some moves here. Point is, if I believe that I don't want the Mets to get Blake Snell, I wouldn't want the Yankees to get him either. Montgomery, to me, would be the guy that both teams should be going after. And, doesn't seem like the Mets are going to be in on him. That could be a bit of a mistake, but is he a difference maker?
Yes, he could be. Listen, if
he could fill out the rotation, he'd probably end up being their ace. I mean, I think he's going to be better than Kodai Senga.
Forget about like the designation, like the symbolic game. Forget about that. You put Blake Snell on your team, and he makes, let's just not even say 32 starts. Let's just say 27 versus Peterson, McGill, this guy for the Miners, half the names I don't even know, Hauser, whatever. I mean, you just increase the odds of being a playoff team. It's that simple. And by the way, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yes, I understand what you're saying. And the fan in me, I think all fans want new pieces and new toys, especially for a team that struggled a year ago.
It's fun. I admit it's fun.
But it doesn't mean it works. And I've seen it fail time and time again in recent years.
With your team.
Correct.
I understand that,
which is
too.
why I respect, like, if they didn't go after Yamamoto or Ohtani, I'd be first in line to hammer them. You know that.
Yep.
They did. They couldn't get the top guys. I'm not, okay, well, let's go get Jason Bay because we missed out on Matt Carpenter. I don't want to do that anymore. So if you can't get the best guys, and they tried and they didn't, I'd rather just not sit it out, but make smart baseball moves that don't appear to be sexy in the offseason while developing some guys, see how the first half of the season plays out, and then maybe add to it at the deadline what's available. I'm actually okay with what the Mets
I'm going to give you this. There are. I'll definitely concede this because I've seen it with the Yankees. I mean, when they picked up Scott Brosian, I think Scott, I'd have to double check.
Who was going nuts about that move?
No, I think he hit 201, or maybe 199 is like the year with the before with the A's.
With the A's,
and then he wins the MVP of the World Series.
Come on.
I get that,
right.
But he's also partially a byproduct, or was a byproduct of what was around him. All I'm saying is this: if the Mets, and I'm taking your premise, if the Mets are going to get on equal footing, right, with the Yankees, what perceptually, standings-wise, revenue-wise, all that stuff, then they need to do something. Because the standard that I am holding my Yankees to, do not burn the prime of Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. Don't waste, you got 1 year of Soto, maybe. Go out there and do something. And the Mets need to be held to the same standard. Their guys are actually older. They've actually got more guys on their team. And I ran through, I don't think people realize, Lindor's really good. He's 30. He's the 30-year-old shortstop. Alonso's amazing. Number one, is not signed yet. He's 30. Edwin Diaz, insane. He's 31. McNeil, 31. Nimmo just signed, 8-year deal? 31. You got to start moving some pieces. You got to get some more pieces.
BT and Sal on the Fan. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. John is in Woodbridge, New Jersey. What's up, John?
Hey, BT, Sal. Happy New Year, guys.
You too, John.
Hey, John. You too, pal.
First, I got to agree with Sal 100% where the Mets are going.
Okay. Where are they going? To fourth place, it seems. I mean,
I don't agree with you on that. But
well, wait. Who are they better than in the division?
Well, they don't need to win the division.
I understand that, but I just said, and I'll let you finish your point. I'm just messing around. But, I actually think the Mets are a fourth-place team. Braves, a million miles better. Phillies, better. I think the Marlins are better.
Well,
I do.
They're without Alcantara for the year, so.
Okay. Who's your ace?
Well, here's my point.
Go ahead.
If you go out and you sign Blake Snell this year for $200 million, that takes them out of the running for maybe signing in 2024 Zach Wheeler or Corbin Burns.
But John, why? All I've heard, King Cohen can outspend anybody. He should never, ever.
He was good. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, buddy. Be in a position where, because he did something one year, he is financially unable to commit to something positive the next year. That is just blatantly inconsistent and asinine.
Right, but I don't think that that's the case.
Well, I'm saying that's what John said. If John's premise is right, like if you get Snell or Montgomery this year and it precludes you maybe doing from something next year that is marginally better, that's not the way it's supposed to be with Steve Cohen. Everybody told me he could do everything.
Yeah, but it's just stupid. He could do everything.
Well, what is he waiting for?
Well, but who in their right mind would spend, whatever it's going to take to get Blake Snell this year and then go get Walker Buehler or Zach Wheeler next year?
I would if I was Cohen.
It's just
I would.
Nobody's an endless pit like that. He could be if he wanted to. It doesn't mean you're going to win. By the way, he tried to do that with Verlander and Scherzer. How'd that work out? He tried to do what Carlos Correa was going to give him $500 million.
Yep.
Didn't work out, obviously. He tried to give Yamamoto $325 million. Didn't work out. He would have paid Shohei Ohtani. This idea that he's not acting, he spent more than the Yankees total value or offered more than the Yankees total value for Yamamoto. So let's not make it like King Cohen.
But a lot of this is, I'm not saying he's doing nothing. I'm honestly not saying that. I'm just trying to elevate and raise the bar for Met fans.
Right, but you want them to get players
I want them to be watchable.
They're going to be watchable.
Okay, Sal, there were long bouts last year. They weren't watchable. They couldn't score and they couldn't pitch.
Well, look, if you're but that has little to do with free agency. If your issue is with the core of this team, that's a different argument.
That's part of it. That's part of it. I got a lot of issues with the Mets right now.
But what's the move? Give me one move out. Like Yamamoto.
I would trade Alonso.
Well, but that's different. See, now you're not talking about free agency.
I would change the whole dynamic.
I was actually going to I literally wrote a note right here. Trade Pete. We didn't talk about this before the show, but I was going to get to it a little bit later because
you could save it whatever you want.
Yeah, now I'm not saying that I would do that. I'm saying that is a potential answer.
It's an avenue
to your
for growth. You reset the numbers, you get younger, you get more athletic.
I wouldn't do that, but I understand why you'd be open to doing it. And if you don't like the core, sure. But that's a different argument than the Mets offseason, because I would ask you again, like even Yamamoto, while they needed him and it would have been a great get for many reasons, even he wouldn't have made them all of a sudden from a 75-win team to a 90-win team.
I agree with that.
Like, they need more. So they need McNeil to produce. What is he going to be?
I
have
don't know.
no idea. They need Lindor to stay healthy and produce. Is he going to continue to do that at his age? Alonso, same thing. They need him to hit for a higher average and produce consistently again. Nimmo, Marte, like they need all these guys to perform. Those guys aren't going anywhere outside of Alonso, and I don't think he's getting traded, but potentially, he's the only one potentially that could get moved. How are they fixing the core? Who's out there that's going to, is Jorge Soler going to change the core of this team?
He's better than what you trotted out there at DH last guy. Yes, the answer is yes.
But he's not going to change the core. They're going to get a DH.
Okay, but if they had, but when? Listen, all I'm saying, and by the way, if these moves happen, I'll get on the show and I'll say, hey, it took a little longer than I thought, but the Mets actually had a vision and they pounced on it. Right now, all I know is this. Right now, and it's not December, it's January.
Right.
So we're getting there.
We're getting closer to spring training.
6 weeks away.
Pitchers and catchers.
6 weeks away.
I know.
All right, those wind sprints and those poles in the outfield and a little PFP, pitchers fielding practice, not that far away. So if they make moves, I promise I'll stand corrected. I'll come clean. Right now, these Mets feel like so many other past iterations of Met teams, and that was supposed to change with Steve Cohen. Who's playing left? Who's playing third? Who's your DH? Who's your ace? If you don't like Senga, who's your two? Like, you guys, you got questions. This team is not good. It's not.
The only other option would have been to keep Verlander, but I think that would have been a mistake. Like, yeah, looking at them on paper with Verlander this year atop their rotation, you'd feel better about them.
Yep.
It would have been the wrong move short term and long term for me. It would have felt better and looked better, and I thought so at the time. As I said last year, no, who the hell's going to pay? I knew what was going to happen. I said, if you trade Verlander right now, you don't have an ace next year. We said that.
And you still don't.
And they don't. That's exactly right. Mateo is in Selden. What's up, Mateo?
Hey, bud.
Happy New Year, boys.
You too.
So, Sal, listen, man. Listen, love the show, guys. Sal, love you, man. But you flip-flop worse than a politician, my guy. I can't take it. You sat here on the radio since day one of the show. King Cohen this. $100 million more for this guy, $100 million more for that guy, blah, blah, blah. And now you're flip-flopping your position because the guy struck out. Listen.
No, hold on a second, Mateo. No, before I let you go, or before I let you go any further, I'm not going to cut you off. I want to hear what you have to say here. I'm not flip-flopping. There is no flip-flopping. King Cohen offered $325 million, which was the most, along with the Dodgers, who matched it to get Yamamoto. Yamamoto didn't want the Mets.
Where was the $100 million more?
He didn't want the Mets. He didn't want the Mets.
No,
Get over it.
You're right.
Get over it. He didn't want the Mets. So it's not about the money. There's nothing King Cohen could do. He did all he could do.
I agree with you there.
Okay.
Here's one thing.
Yeah.
Hold on. King Cohen can buy a lot of things. One thing he can't pay for, he can't pay to remove the loser stench from the New York Mets. No decent free agent will ever want to play here, and that's the bottom line.
It's not the bottom line, Mateo. Is that
yes,
all? Is that all you
yes,
have?
It is.
He got Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander to play here.
40-year-old free agents.
Yeah, two future Hall of Famers.
Give another $100 million to another 40-year-old.
Yeah,
oh,
I know.
great.
Right. The Mets have never. You're right. The Mets under Cohen have never signed a good free agent.
Not, your biggest move is re-signing. What's your
Mateo? Are you talking Mets or you? Are you talking Mets or you're a Yankee fan?
Graham, you know I'm a Yankee fan.
Yeah, get lost, you loser. We're not talking about the Yankees. We're talking about the Mets. Yankees get your own issues. What free agent have you signed exactly?
How much did they spend? The best hitter in baseball, but as via trade.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
he's
they still have
pretty good in front of Aaron Judge.
Mateo, you know what you have? Giancarlo Stanton, baby.
He's looking lean.
Booney said he's going to have a big year,
you see the picture
just like
yesterday?
Josh Donaldson did last year. Oh, baby, Yanks are primed for a big year again.
Here's the difference, though. Yeah. All right, and I am really trying to focus on the Mets, but I actually still have supreme confidence the Yankees are going to start making moves. I do.
Well, that is where we disagree.
Yep.
I believe.
So you don't think the Yankees get a Montgomery, a Snell, or they're not going to get Chapman? You don't think they or trade?
I'll believe it when I see it.
But right now you don't think you. So you think this is their team?
Let's go.
There's no way this is their team.
Well, but you're saying that about the Mets, so why can't I say that about the Yankees?
Well, you can. I just don't agree. Of course you can.
And let's just go based off of facts. Who had the highest total offer for Yamamoto? Mets or Yankees?
Mets and Dodgers.
Okay, Mets and Dodgers. Right.
Mets and Dodgers.
You're right. It wasn't even two. It was. The Yankees were third.
Mets and Dodgers.
So the Yankees are the Yankees paying Stan to go.
The Yankees had a little pride.
Are the Yankees paying Stan to go away that you want them to?
Not yet.
Okay, they're not. Did the Mets pay Scherzer and Verlander to go away?
It's easier because it was 1 year.
But they did.
Come on, it was different.
But they paid him to go away.
But it was different.
And this idea, I mean, how stupid can you be thinking that the Mets can't get a big free agent? Like, come on, dude.
Well, there is something to be said. Maybe that's a little bit unfair, but there is something to be said for the culture.
Come on.
I mean, listen.
The culture.
Well, until you get it, though, I know what he's saying. I probably wouldn't have delivered it that way. He's obviously a Yankee fan coming in.
What's the culture exactly?
Well, I don't know. That's the problem. You just fired Buck Showalter. Your team stunk last year. You've done nothing so far. You tell me what's the culture. I don't know what the Mets culture is right now. It's a mixed bag of culture. I don't know.
What's the Yankees culture?
The Yankees culture is they're trying to get back to how they built.
Trying.
Well, at least they're trying, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, the Mets aren't. They tried to get Yamamoto harder than the Yankees did. So stop with that. Let's not do the Met-Yankee thing again because you guys are going to come up short again. That's the problem. Here's the Mets culture. They have the richest owner in the sport, and they hired one of the smartest guys in all of baseball. You, the Yankee fan, wanted your president and GM, whatever, fired.
I did.
And you're talking about the Yankees are going to pay this guy and pay that guy. They paid nobody.
Well, it's a good pivot to Soto. Yeah. It's a good start.
They traded for Juan Soto. It was a one-year rental. Hey, that, to me, is stupid.
It might be, but all I know is this. On opening day, I'm going to watch Soto and Judge back to back.
And you're right. They have
that's a good starting point.
They have the star power. They have the history. All of that stuff. It's great, right? It's entertaining. I understand that. Winning in the offseason doesn't mean winning during the season. What the Mets are doing is not sexy, but it could be smart. Now, they got to do it. They got to fill out the roster, and they got to actually go out there and win. But right now, as a Met fan, I feel fine because I believe in Steve.